When people come and ask you about what happened in 2020, who don't believe that Biden actually won, what do you think are the best pieces of evidence that you submit to, help to change their mind?
Well, the first thing to say is that it's not clear that information per se and evidence are all that relevant to a lot of the people involved, because it turns out that humans believe what we believe on big abstract matters like who won an election. This is not true if, like, where is the next tribe camped, or is that a tiger in the bush, or just a breeze, where we get immediate feedback and it's personally important. Or for that matter, in stock picking, where we have, real consequences and money in the game. But on abstract questions like who won the election, we tend to go with what our tribe thinks, because that's where we're getting our social status and our sense of solidarity. And for a lot of people who believe stop the steal, they're not going to change their mind in the face of any evidence, because that would mean rethinking their whole affiliation to the group that they're a part of, politically, socially, their whole identity. So what we're aiming for is the persuadable middle. And that, fortunately, is a majority of Americans. So evidence, there's a couple ways to think about it. One is the positive evidence, the fact that Trump's own Attorney General and the Justice Department were very protective of Trump, looked at it and said, we can't find any credible evidence of significant electoral fraud. Trump's own Department of Homeland Security, which had a cyber fraud unit, sophisticated people, looked at it and said, as far as we can tell, this is as safe and fair and accurate an election as has ever been run. You can add the fact that every single conspiracy theory and claim of stolen election that has surfaced, to my knowledge, was quickly knocked down. I'm familiar with the ones in Arizona, my home state. There were some notions that the Chinese, someone had sent in Chinese fake ballots. And like this whole audit went to work looking for bamboo fibers in ballots. It all fell apart. There's nothing to it. So there's all of that, which leads to sort of the second way to think about it, which is a core epistemic principle, if you want to be reality-based, is that which is asserted without evidence can be dismissed without evidence. You can make something up about the election, and a lot of people have. And the answer is, there's absolutely no reason to believe that unless you can come up with compelling evidence. And no one has. The fact that every time a conspiracy theory is knocked down, two rise up in its place, none of them substantiated, should tell you something. In Arizona, again, my home state, I know a bit about it. The election was counted twice by the county recorder in Maricopa County. That's the big swing district with Phoenix in it. And then it went out to two private companies, professional election auditors who audited it. They all came out with the same result. That wasn't good enough for MAGA conspiracy theories, who demanded their own audit and brought in a group called Cyber Ninjas to do one. Now, this was a group with zero experience working with elections. They didn't know how to handle the ballots. They didn't have the right kind of workers. They didn't have squat. But they came back after 6 months saying they confirmed the same count as the official count, except a larger margin for Joe Biden.
Yeah.
Now, that's Trump's MAGA's own people. What was the response to that? Trump could have said, well, I guess I was wrong about Arizona. Do you think he said that? Because what he actually said is the fraud was in Pima County, the next county over. Now, what's happening here is obvious Russian-style disinformation. You just keep making stuff up. At some point, individuals need to draw a line and need to understand they're being manipulated.
Yeah. Thank you for that. I know we're getting close to Go ahead.
If people want resources, there's tons of stuff in reputable organizations online that go through the conspiracy theories and the fake claims. So it's all out there, and you and I can find some and put them in the show notes if you want.
Yeah.
But at some point, we just have to recognize this is not going to be a subject of sort of rational debate.
Yeah.
At some point, what needs to happen is that people who understand the way we're being manipulated and who are invested in the strength of democracy will begin punishing politicians who engage in these big lie practices, and that will get them to stop.